they all are? What if they're gay? What if Carol's a lesbian and Bruce and are gay? What are you going to do then? You're going to kill them? So I had to think through all this philosophically, and then found out my bodyguard was gay, which I didn't know for years, and put his life on the line for me, which really was an opening of my eyes. But I had to think through it.
Sure.
Of course, what would I do? I love my children. Father Emmett, hopefully he's watching, has been sick and everything. God bless you. Father Emmett used to say, my house is child-centered. His house is child-friendly, which is a normal house. I mean, if you got a good spouse and everything, you should be a child-friendly house. Instead, if you're like me with changing spouses a lot, you end up with a very child-centered family, I think. So, but that was it. My life and what I had were my children.
Yeah.
So that was impacting.
Yeah.
And maybe that was also the thing that allowed me to be more open in a lot of ways, not only in however they played, whatever they did, and then search to try to understand.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want it to be like that.
This is a much bigger deal these days, obviously, because as you said, Callie, we grew up in a time period when we had to take action on our identity. It wasn't something that got identified and dealt with earlier in life. This was something that when you got into high school or college and out into the world, you had to turn around and say, all right, I need to deal with who I am and the lie I've been living.
Yeah.
And there's enough, as you were saying, education out there now. There's enough voices out there now that we do know that kids present early on. We do know that there's help available for them. And there are parents out there, and there are organizations out there that help parents figure out, what does this all mean? How do I handle it? What do I do now?
How wonderful is that?
How alone is my child?
Yeah.
What do I do about the school system? What do I do when bullying occurs? It's daunting enough for a parent, but when you start throwing a lot of this on top of it.
Oh yeah. And certainly any way we can steer people to the right resources. We want to do that. But certainly we are not medical professionals. We are not capable of diagnosing anybody. Everything that we do is pretty much opinion. But we can help with the resources. We can help steering, saying this is where you need to go.
The right place.
This is where the information is.
Right, and that's what, I guess that's why my concern was, you can send people to the proper place. I researched the site. The site's a quality site, They had the questions like, which I would have had, right? How do you know? Does a child know if they're transgender? How do they know? They have a whole list of questions and answers for, isn't it easier, the silly thing is, isn't it easier to teach a child how to be a boy or a girl? You're going to teach, well, no, that's not what we're talking about here. We're
and it
talking
doesn't work.
And it doesn't work, exactly right. But you can go to them and you can look it up on the thing. How do you tell your family? Like, how do you go about it and come out to your family and deal with the situations like that, right? The problems in school. Okay, how do you deal with the problems in school? Of course, as they go older.
When they get older.
The biggest problem, which is, how about dating? Well, I have that all fixed up. I just don't let them date, and I have an entourage.
That's right.
No,
Angie's not dating.
The answer is just
that's
no.
My baby. That's my youngest, well, it doesn't matter from 48 to 20. Oh, wow.
Yeah, don't think about it.
20, she's going to be 24 this month. Yeah, I try to still interfere with all their relationships. Still, that's what Daddy's about.
That's your job.
That's my job.
For father.
Yeah, but that's a whole area that
it is.
Whether it's transgender or not, it becomes a difficult area for parents.
Yep.
Anyways, the dating season, daddies lose their girls, mommies lose their boys, Daddy's saying, well, he's a boy. Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
We know what they're about.
This guy's a lot like you, Dad. Then get rid of him right away. then the question, will you allow your child to have surgery? Now, that is entirely, that's a
Okay.
family thing, but finding a doctor, where you
Wow.
go with the hormone blockers.
They're saying their surgery on children as young as 14, and that's really unheard of.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, doctors are not going to do it until the kids have gotten well into puberty.
Yeah.
No,
You're
Not in
talking-
this, not in this country.
Not in this
talking
country.
18, 16
That's right.
maybe, 18, 20, 20, at which point it's really not a fair question because the kids are old enough, they're adults, they're out of the
Well,
house.
this is what, see, these are the things on sites, though, when you talk about it.
Right.
Yeah, not in this country, 18 years old.
Yeah.
Okay, when they're going to be on their.
But the second part of this,
Yeah.
hormone blockers and hormone
Hormone
therapy.
blockers, yes.
Yeah. When kids do go into puberty,
Puberty, right.
If parents are supportive, then you can put them on hormone blockers and
Right,
hormone
and
therapy.
delay puberty.
Actually delay puberty, and that's generally what I've heard is recommended.
Yes.
Is you go on hormone blockers to delay puberty so that the kid can get old enough to make the decision themselves and say yes or
Yes,
no.
without the damage, and what people have to realize is that puberty, if you're a transsexual, puberty is damaging.
Damages your body.
Right.
It's like it does irreversible damage.
But see, if you know early, this is what I thought, okay, which I said, this was great conversation on these shows, because if a parent identifies something like the behavior early, and you go to support and educate people early, then you can build a web of support for
Right.
you, the family,
Yep.
and the child. If you don't, you're left in the cold in a scary area of all this, and that's that's, that's my issues with Street Talk. Why you need to know about these. These exist, whether you like them or not,
Right.
whether you care about it or not. This is what's happening in the world,
Yeah.
and as a parent, you need to be educated.
And you said something interesting a few minutes ago. You said, you were talking about being in prison, and what if my children are gay? And you said, I love my children. And it's an interesting point. It's like, guess what? Everybody, myself, you, we're all somebody's children.
That's right.
There's, and guess what? We're all God's children, and God loves us.
There you go.
So all this hate that's out there for people like us and people in the broader community and people that are different. Guess what? These are all somebody's children, and these are all God's children.
And that's hopefully what we try to bring out and talk about spiritually.
Yeah.
Tara would like to know that the new study, I don't know if you saw on the news, I believe it was Trinity that did a study, said that most people in our area, in New England, right, are no longer religious. It's only about 64%. They do not claim, people are not claiming any denomination or
A lot of people claim non-religious spiritual.
Right. Well, the question was, do they believe in God? The fact of the matter is, 90% of the people believe in God, but 64% don't want anything to do with
Organized
religion, which I agree with them myself. People think, oh well, Father, I'm not religious, never been religious.
Speaking of which, I have some Jehovah's Witnesses visiting me.
Oh, there you go. Put a flag out there, and they won't come. Okay. Well, that's but they probably won't know you.
That's right. Can we film the part where you tell them?
I was actually going to suggest, if you wanted to, we could set up a study group. They've been offering to come over and show me how to use the Bible to find answers.
Wow,
I had.
that would be fun.
I had a minister in the days when I was Pentecostal. I was raised Roman Catholic. People always say, Father, how did you get to it? Well, I left